So today I'm finally getting around to doing my routing guide for Voicemeeter Potato. In previous videos I did an overview of the software and I showed you how to set up the hardware and showed you how to set up the virtual inputs and outputs. So this guide will bring together a lot of the stuff from the previous videos and will actually show you how to use it to separate your audio tracks and set different levels between different tracks, and generally how to route audio between different applications. With that said, let's get on with it. So to start, let's go over how the computer does it without Voicemeeter. Using this incredibly powerful painting tool that's been with Windows since at least Windows 3.1, I'm going to demonstrate how it works. So first off, these are your sounds sources, and these are where we want to send the various sound sources. So in the normal way that Windows works, by default, you'll have a default mic. Let's say it's mic 1 on this, in this case, and that will go into your various software packages. It could be your game, and it could be your communications app. Your other mic will probably just sit there not used. Most communication apps let you choose a different mic. So in this case, let's say within Discord, you've selected mic 2 to be your microphone. And that's easily just doable within most of these applications. Discord and Skype definitely do it. At the same time, you've got your computer sounds. So you've got your game audio, and you've got music, and you've got the sound coming out of your communication app. Now you'll have one of these devices set as your default, and basically everything will go to that. Let's say it's headset 1 here. So all of these are going in that because that's your default. Now within Windows, you can, using these advanced audio properties, you can select different applications to go to different outputs. So for example, maybe you don't want your music to go to your headset. You've got a decent set of speakers and you want to send it there instead. The music goes to your speakers. Okay, and again, communications applications usually let you choose within the application which they use. So for example, you might have your game and your music go to your speakers, but you want your communication app to go to your headset because you don't want the feedback going into your microphone. Okay, that's basically the normal setting. Now within Windows, you can actually pass one of these devices through to one of these. And we do that in the sound control panel. Pick one of your recording devices. Let's pick the webcam here. Go into listen, your properties, listen to this device. You can check that, and then you can play it back through one of your outputs. And I'm not going to do it because I don't want to do that. So in which case, let's use the red one for this. Your webcam might be set, let's say we say it's headset 2. And then you'd be able to hear yourself. You might just want to do that so you can test that your mic sounds okay. You might have some other type of input device. All of these are microphones, but you could easily have some form of other device. For example, back in the day, I might have connected my tape player, my Walkman tape player, through the line import, and then wanted to play it back through my PC speakers because I didn't have a hi-fi. It was a good compromise back in the day. Kind of a bit superfluous in the current day where everything's already in the computer. All your music is already in the computer anyway. Basically, what I'm saying here is that Windows does a lot of this stuff, and you can actually control a lot of these things that you want to do. OBS, so if you want to record OBS can pick up both inputs and outputs. So let's show that using the green. So all of your inputs and all of your outputs. Let's make sure I make it clear that those are all going to OBS. Notice OBS can't pick up these, and it can't pick up these. It picks up the device, the input device or the output device. And that's, again, fine. You can do a lot of what you want to do. However, it does lead to some problems. For example, one of these devices will be your default audio device. It's probably your headset or your speakers. What happens when you turn the volume down on your headset? Now, if you've got a manual control on your headset that actually turns down the sound that goes to your ears, but the signal still goes to the headset, then it's not so much of a problem. However, I've got a USB set of headphones where the volume wheel controls Windows volume for that device. Now, if I turn my headset down, that turns down the volume that OBS hears. It's more confusing than that, because you might have set your level in OBS to be even lower. For example, quite often when I'm streaming, I keep the game volume lower so you can hear me speaking. But if I was to turn my own game volume down and the input volume into OBS is being reduced, then OBS reduces the volume again. You might not be able to hear it. It'll become very difficult to set the various volumes for the different outputs you want. And if you're live streaming, it's actually quite difficult to monitor the volume of your stream without it being an obvious disruption. Okay, so this is how we do it in Windows. This is how. And I imagine most people who don't use Voicemeeter or something similar, or have a mixer that can take care of all this stuff for them, will do it. And it comes with all these various problems. A few other things. I'm not sure if it does it now, but it used to be that if you played back a YouTube video and then you went and changed your default audio interface. So for example, you played a YouTube video first thing in the morning, starts blaring out of your speakers. Well, if your family's still asleep, you pause it. You went and changed the output device to your headphones, press play again, and it carried on coming out of the speakers. If you refresh the page, it would then, and then played it again, it would then come out of the headset, but still not ideal. Okay, so that's, as I said, that's what we've that's the sort of situation that you have without Voicemeeter. So let's bring up Voicemeeter. Okay, so here we have the same thing, but Voicemeeter is in the middle. I've also added this V-band because that's a feature of Voicemeeter, which I have discussed in my previous videos. So let's look at how we've set this up first. So first off, mic 1 is here, mic 2 here, and mic 3 is there. I'll come back to V-band in a minute. Now the game comes out of the default Windows audio device, but the default Windows audio device has been set to this Voicemeeter input here. The Discord is coming in here, and the music is coming in here. Now, output devices, got some speakers, headset. Now I've done these in the wrong order already, but this one here is my headset. That's one set of speakers. On the monitor. This one's actually another set of speakers on my second monitor, but it doesn't really matter. We'll just do it this way. Oop. Sorry about my awful drawing. Now I'm just going to change color so we don't get these muddled up. The system is being fed through there, and that doesn't actually need to go anywhere except for OBS. OBS needs to pick up that, so it's picking up this one. All these things need is the microphone. Now I've set my microphone as this one here. And now this final one, that's the music as well. And these are the virtual outputs. These are virtual outputs. These are physical ones. So these physical ones go to these output devices. these virtual ones go to other software. I've separated OBS because it can pick up outputs and inputs. That one just needs to go to OBS as well. So that's basically duplicated what we had before, only there's a lot less mess. And the control, rather than being buried in Windows control panel, is all here. Now I'm going to add the VBAN in. As I've explained in a previous video, VBAN is a way of communicating over the local network. So in this case, this VBAN signal is coming from the second computer on my network. That's somebody talking on the other computer. That will come over the network and it will come in here. And it can be set up as one of these instead, but I've got spare ones of these and I haven't got any spare ones of these. So that's there. Now, VBAN is also here. You can't really see it. You'll be able to see it better on the big screen when I show that in a minute. That goes there. Now that is a signal going to the other computer. Okay, something I need to add here. Remember, OBS can grab inputs and outputs. Here it's grabbing some outputs. As I've explained in my virtual device guide, and I'll be explaining on my guide on how to connect Voicemeeter to OBS, we need to collect this Discord here, not here. Why? Because we don't have enough virtual outputs. Now, there's a couple of other ways of doing the same thing, but in my setup, and this is how I'm going to show you how to do it, we can collect the input. So that, because that's a virtual input device and OBS can connect to inputs and outputs, that's also going down there. That's it. That's our setup. That's how we want to do it. Right. So I'm going to cut it there and we're going to move back over to the using it in practice. Okay, so here we are back in Voicemeeter Live. As you can see, my microphone is over here. I've disconnected all of the routing I've set to not go anywhere. I'm actually recording the mic separately. It's not actually being routed through here because it just means I've got the flexibility then to just do what I want. As you can see, the mic is on mono signal there. This is the second microphone. My condenser microphone hasn't got any phantom power, so there's no signal, but I will show you how to route it nevertheless. We need now to replicate what we just did. All of the inputs are already set up. All of the outputs are already set up. So let's start from left to right. 2 microphones. I want to convert these microphones into a microphone I can pick up as a virtual input. So who needs to listen to the microphone? Well, it'll be Discord. But Discord can pick up this device and OBS needs to pick up this device. And once it's set, we won't really need to change the volume on it. It can be changed in Discord or in OBS to set the levels appropriate to each environment, but this can be more or less left once we're happy with it. So first off, we want both of our microphones in mono. So we get the mono signal going across there. We don't want them to go to any of these output devices. We only want them to go to this stereo mic. That's B2. We select B2 there. This one's, it's just getting into the green. If you turn it right up, and if I try and speak higher, see, it just starts clipping there. So you've got a bit of boost there. You might find that you need it, especially with a dynamic mic. I'm not going to apply any of these filters at the moment. I'm just going to leave it. Right, my webcam mic. So there it is. The webcam's listening to me in the background. It's not been sent anywhere, and actually, it's got a rubbish mic in it, and I don't want to hear it. So we can just mute that. So it grays out the signal, and also I'm not sending anywhere. I could, if I wanted to, set it to B2 just in case I want to use that mic, and I could just unmute it. And actually, I should probably mute this one as well because I only want this one on. Okay, this channel isn't really being used. That loopback master that's there is just something I was experimenting with, which I might go into in a future video, but it's only going to cause confusion right now. So VBAN in. So this is the signal from the other computer. So who needs to hear this? Well, actually, it's only my headphones. And the other computer is right next to this computer, so I don't need it to go to speakers. I only want it to go to headphones. So A1 is the headphones. So we'll send it to A1. It should come over as a stereo signal because it would have been set up on Voicemeeter on the other computer as a stereo signal. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Since there's nobody on there at the moment, I can mute it. Doesn't really matter. But I'm going to mute it right now. Now, the virtual devices. Who needs to listen to what here? So the system That's the game sounds and pretty much everything else other than the music and the Discord. So let's send that to the headset. I also want it to go to my speakers. So I've got 2 sets of speakers on A2 and A3. I don't always want them blaring, but I've got all these muted for now, and I'm going to leave them muted. I want to set this up so I can flick these on and off with one button. It doesn't need to be in mono. It doesn't need to be muted because I'm controlling it, going to be controlling it over here. Okay, moving on to the Discord. Who needs to hear that? Well, I need to hear that. I don't want it to go to, I don't really want it to go to speakers, because if I'm using Discord, the chances are I'm using a microphone, so the speakers would play back into the microphone and make a terrible sound. So I don't want that, so I'll leave that on just the headset. Now the music, let's do the same as that one. So the music comes out of the speakers as well. Okay, now that's just the physical devices, that's just these 5 here. Now the virtual devices, primarily I'm using the virtual devices for OBS. So I want OBS to hear my system, I want OBS to hear my Discord, and I want it to hear my music. Firstly, we'll send the system, and I've got a virtual system one here on B1, so I'll send that there. And the music, I've got a virtual music one, which is on B3, so I'm going to send that there. Now, my microphone is being sent to B2, so I can't send the Discord to B2. So that's where we get back into here. I'm going to pick that up there. So I'm picking that up from the input, not from the output. So it's before the slider. The slider will only affect what goes to A1 because it's not been sent to anything for OBS to pick up. Now I just need to come back to this VBAN because we haven't discussed this. VBAN is on A5. Now this is the signal that goes to the other computer. What do I want to send there? Well, I want to send my microphone, don't I? So A5, I need to apply to the 3 microphones to send them over there. These 2 are muted, so they aren't going to be sent. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, something you shouldn't do, you shouldn't put the VBAN in to the VBAN out, because that means whoever's talking to you across the network, if I put that on there, they'd also be able to hear themselves, which isn't what we want. We want their microphone to come in here and be sent to one of my listening devices, and we want my microphone to be sent over the network so they can listen to it. Okay, so that's our setup. We've got it set up so OBS can record 4 separate tracks, these 3 plus the Discord. Your game and your Discord can pick up your microphone, and we're able to flick between different output devices easily just by unmuting them. For example, if I'm listening to music, it's now coming through my headphones. If I mute that and unmute that, it's now coming through the speakers. And it's as simple as that to flick between devices. You're not going in here messing with things. You're not changing the individual app settings there. Basically, once it's set up how you like it, you've very little reason to change it. Anyway, I hope you found this useful, and I hope this ties together all of the stuff from the previous 3 videos a bit more. As you can see, I originally wanted to do 1 video, but there's so much, you either have to gloss over a lot of it or you make it a huge. So I'm hoping that hasn't caused too much confusion. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I'll help if I can. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and also checking me out on Mixer or Twitch. And you can of course follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you in the next video.